We're now live on all the platforms, and I real quick just want to say, for those people who tune in right away, thank you. Like, that's amazing. There are people who are waiting for our live stream to happen, and they're there the moment it does. So that's pretty awesome. I'm going to press record on this episode. Very pumped for this. It's going to be amazing. Everybody get excited. 3, 2, 1.
Leaders and healers from around the globe, welcome to the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Cheam, ready to serve you. This is the podcast where we help you claim your power, clarify your purpose, and cultivate your deepest and most powerful passions in life so you can ultimately become the best version of yourself, show up as the best version of yourself, and ultimately give yourself to the world the best of you so you can transform the world, inspire the world to be the best version of themselves, giving people the permission to express themselves fully, their deepest and highest desires and needs. Thank you for joining us today. We're capping off this Monday because I'm excited for various reasons. I'm always excited and energized, but we're going to be doing this podcast daily starting actually this week, but regularly at a certain time starting next Tuesday after Labor Day. But we're going every day, Monday to Friday around 1:30, 2 o'clock. We will confirm the time, so stay tuned every day between 1:30 and 2 o'clock for about a 20-minute podcast each day, talking about various subjects, questions from previous podcasts, and any questions I get from clients, emails, anything like that, any subject that I touch upon with clients or that are commonalities in the world of challenges and problems, stuff like that. But today, our podcast, I had a very deep experience on the weekend. My wife's grandmother, she's on her way to her eternal resting place. She's 95 years old. And seeing that, I want to talk today about the power of dying and the lessons learned about death and how much you can get out of dying. And I often say to people, you're going to learn a lot more from dying about life than life can teach you about life. You can learn a lot more from death about teaching you. Death teaches you more about life than life teaches you about life. And so we're going to talk about that. Welcome to the podcast. And Cam, how you doing out there, man?
Doing very well. As you guys probably know, we spent a night out at Anthony's place, and it was crazy. Like,
all day
you
long.
said something that really resonated with me, and I mean, it is off topic a little bit, but it was, there are 3 things that you could do with any interaction. It's either they lower your standards to meet yours, you heighten your standards to meet theirs, or you don't talk at all. It's either you meet standards or you don't talk at all. And like, that makes sense. Or maybe not, you don't talk at all, but there's no connection there. There wouldn't be a connection, right? And when I was at your place, I had no choice but to raise my standards because you sure as hell Anthony Cheam isn't slowing down. So that was really awesome. And it definitely gave me the idea of like, yeah, the people you hang around are really important because you, like, even without telling me, you inspired me to just show up as my best self as much as I could when I was over there. So no, that was amazing. That was amazing. So I'm really excited for this topic, as sensitive as it might be. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Well, I think, as I said, I got a text and a phone call from my wife in between clients. I couldn't really call her back, or during a client, and she was talking about how her nana, who they call, and she's got a huge family, said she wasn't doing too well, and that she hasn't got up or eaten. She's weak and she hasn't eaten, or she hasn't really. 1 second, guys. My PC is kind of running on low battery. Give me 1 second here. Hold on.
I just got to plug it in.
I got to plug it in. Yeah,
no
sorry,
worries.
guys.
Hey, no worries. No worries. You know, I like these little moments.
Just give me 1 minute, guys. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries.
Let's see. Let's see if that does it. There we go. On the weekend, and I got a phone call, and she basically said that Nana's not doing too good. She hasn't eaten for 2 or 3 days, and she wasn't drinking any water, wasn't moving. She was weak. So I went to go visit her, and seeing the family around her bed, telling stories about, experiences with their mom or grandmother or great grandmother, stuff like that. And it was just one of the most magical moments, just witnessing families get together. And I play for my church. I play and sing for my church, and I love playing and singing for my church because it's such I get to give my gift of music to the congregation, and I get people that know who I am at the church. I sing with emotion, with love in my heart, wanting to share God through singing and music. and I put my heart and soul into it. I'm often exhausted after, but oftentimes I play for a lot of funerals and weddings, stuff like that. And I often tell people, weddings are beautiful and nice. They are, no doubt. Seeing the bride and groom getting together and saying their vows, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. There's no doubt, spreading love that way and seeing people unite with their vows. But at funerals, I must say, it's a lot more meaningful when it comes to bringing people together, because oftentimes you get invited to a wedding. Sometimes you can't go. Not everyone's going to show up. They say, expect 10% of the people that aren't going to show up. But if someone dies that is very meaningful in life, a lot of people are going to show up. In fact, a lot of weddings, what will happen is a lot of people won't show up because they have a lot of animosity toward each other. They weren't chosen to be a part of the wedding party or whatever it might be. And there's a lot of personal animosity that goes along with that. So I've witnessed it. I've experienced it myself. And so there's a lot of stuff that goes on, a lot of politics within a wedding. But at a funeral, someone passes away, everybody shows up, regardless of your past indifferences or animosity. You set aside your differences. And it's beautiful to watch the people in the audience as they respond to the family that's in mourning. And I actually just played for one this morning, and it's a beautiful thing. So I want to let you guys know that death can truly teach you more about life than life can teach you about life. And what I really mean by that is, when you look at it, I often say to people, what if you had 6 months left to live? And it's one of my favorite strategies to use on people about being in the moment and being present now. And they often say, well, I would do this, I would do that. And then I go 6 weeks left to live. And they kind of contemplate that. 6 days left to live. And then at the very last second, I'll say 6 minutes left to live. What would you do? What would you see? What would you say? Where would you go? But the truth of the matter is, we're basically candles lit at the beginning of our birth into this physical existence, and we're burning our wax in our wick, and we do not know when we're going to expire. So the reality is, like, plane can hit my house right now. I could die of a heart attack. Right? I don't know. I just don't know when. But what you do with that life, what you do with these moments, these magical moments now, are what's going to ripple through eternity. And what you do with your gifts and talents, how you live, how you breathe, the talents and gifts you've been blessed with, how you go about sharing it with others is going to continue on into eternity, living in others. I love what the Buddha says, if I share my candle with 1,000 other candles, that does not diminish my power. In fact, it lives and breathes in all the other candles, 1,000 other candles. And that's what I wish to do. I'm just a candle. I'm no different than, there's different shapes and sizes and colors and all these other things, but I'm just trying to light everyone else's candle, to light up the world. And there's a lot of darkness and suffering and pain that's happening in the world. But you know what? Despite all that, I'm here to serve. I'm here to make the world better. And the only way I can really make the world better is to literally die to the things that aren't important every day. I often say to people, some people get so mad because, Tony Robbins says, because they didn't get the right hot sauce on their taco, or they didn't get someone in front of them stopped too early and they hit the back of their car, or whatever it might be. And I often say to people, listen, if you got in a car accident today, or your flat tire made you late for a meeting, you're not stressed out because your flat tire. You're stressed out because the story you tell yourself about your flat tire. You might have cancer, but it's not the cancer that determines your story now. It's your story about cancer. I've actually met people who have a terminal illness. I never even knew they had a terminal illness. And the response is always like, well, it's not how long you live, it's how you live. And people that are faced with terminal illness or faced with a near-death experience, oftentimes there's a lightness that goes along with this. You're like, you know what? I'm going to live the next 3 months of my life in anger and hatred? No, it's how you live in this moment now. So die to all that stuff that's not important. What people think of you, or what someone said to you 5, 10, 12, 15 years ago. You got to get rid of that. Get over it, people. Live now, die to all that stuff. Focus on what's really important, express it, give it all away, love deeply, give compassionately, and live presently. So that is my message today. What do you think there, Cam?
I absolutely agree. And I mean, like, growing up, obviously I'm not even 20. I'm turning 20 next month. So like, I understand, because a lot of kids or teenagers have that attitude, and it comes with age, I guess, because even I still do, where you complain about like, oh man, my Netflix isn't working, like kill myself. Wow, this is terrible. Like a lot of people, it's so many little things. And and I'm grateful to be living with people my age who actually have that like present moment, happy with what you have, grateful. Contrast is a huge thing too, right? Because 2 of them are immigrants. Actually, all 3 of them are immigrants. And so what they've experienced a country that isn't nearly as free as Canada is. But if you're born here, you're familiar with it and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So no, I totally agree. Like, one of the biggest things is being present and grateful, and know that, like, you're lucky. I think one of the biggest things that Tony Robbins helped me with money was you have to convince yourself, or you have to shatter the illusion that you're not already wealthy. Right?
That is brilliant.
And then I think about it and I'm like, wow, okay, I actually am rich as heck right now. Like, obviously compared to the rest of the world, but also just even compared to people my age, like rich emotionally, rich with all the gear I have, all the resources I have to obviously make this podcast and so many other things happen. Like, for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's a great quote. It's by Virgil, and he says, it's one of the most magnificent quotes about death. He says, death twitches my ear. Live, he says, I am coming. Contemplate that for a second. Let me repeat that for you guys listening to this podcast. Death twitches my ear. Live, he says, I am coming. Live now.
Yeah.
There's no cure for birth or death, save to enjoy the interval. And honestly, the time of your birth, the time that you're dead, on your coffin, you're going to have born this day, dead this day. That little dash is your life. That's it. We're a parentheses in eternity. So take those moments. Imagine for a second, and I'll end here because this is just I wanted to make it short, but imagine for a second, you are given at the beginning of your life certain amounts of energy or BTUs that will last till the end of your life. Let's say you're given 1 million BTUs or watts of energy. And every time you share love, you actually get another point of energy. But every time you're angry and you're hateful and you're thinking about revenge, 2 of those watts of energy are now being taken from you. Now you're actually lessening your life by hating, by being angry, by being distasteful, by being judgmental and critical of others because they aren't of the right race or the right color, or they're not making as much money as you are. Every time you do that, you 2 points of energy gets taken from you. Every time you love and serve, 1 point gets added to you. So think about that for a second. Think about that every time you love, every time you serve, and your life extends. Your life is literally empowered, expanded because of the kindness and the generosity you bestow on the world and the type of person you show up as. So who are you going to be? Are you going to be that person that focuses on everything you hate and everything wrong with the world? Or are you going to focus in on what you're grateful, as you so prophetically said, about all the abundance? You're already rich. You've been blessed with this life. As death twitches your ear, live is whispering in your ear. The angel of death is whispering in your ear saying, live now, because I'm going to come. I'm going to come knocking one day. How you arrive at that is your choice. And I leave you with this, guys out there. Imagine for a second, and I had this experience on the weekend. Fortunately, my wife's grandmother's still alive. She's doing well today. But there was all her family standing around her bed as she slept and was weak. And she was kind of struggling with her breathing. And I kind of step back for a moment and remind me of that story of, imagine for a second, if you will, at the end of your life, the ideal situation for anyone to be in is if you're on your deathbed and all your friends and family are around you, loving you, there with you, encouraging you, and with you in your dying moments. But imagine, if you will, switch those people up with your gifts, your talents, your dreams and desires with the humans now around you. And those talents are now sitting around you around your bed. And they're saying to you, we came because of you, and because of you, we are dying, and we will die with you. Do not, please, I beg you, don't die with the music still in you. Please, you have a song to sing. You've got a poet or poetry to write, or a book to write, a daycare to open, or an educational system that will help children, or some sort of thing that you've been given on this earth. That's your purpose and your purpose alone. So live it, breathe it, and walk it with as much passion as possible. So to your continued upgrade and evolution, live it up with power, purpose, and passion. We will see you next time, guys. I love you. Great job, you guys. Awesome.